My name is Lou Studdert, and I'm the producer on the Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
So talk a little bit about this delay with the game. What's going on?
Yeah. So we decided to move the date from September to November, so we're coming out November 13th. And we did that so that we can give a little, additional love and care to the game, add some polish throughout the game, because we have been just overwhelmed by the fan response, and we want to make sure that this game lives up to our expectations and we give them the most polished, amazing experience possible.
Talk a little about this Spyro Reignited Trilogy in terms of like the development of it, because it's not simply a port. It's essentially how much groundwork is already done for you when you go in.
Zero. We have had to rebuild the game entirely from the ground up. There was no existing source code, and so the team has had to, on a brand new engine, completely remake this title. And so it's been super cool just to see, how amazing and close they can get, and just to make sure that this feels exactly the same when fans get their hands on it. But yeah, it's had to been rebuilt from the ground up.
Did your entire team have to play the original first 3 games and constantly look back at them for reference?
Constantly. We have been playing them non-stop, and now we're getting to play, the new trilogy right next to the original PlayStation 1 trilogy. And some of the things that we've done are some really cool engineering tools. We've got a thing called Spyroscope that will help get us information while we play the original game to help reinform and make sure that our decisions and assumptions and just build out are all correct.
Talk about what do you think kept Spyro withstanding the test of time all these years?
Well, I think Spyro's a really unique example of a platformer. It's something that really isn't done, where you're actually playing as this really cool dragon. You get the feeling of being a dragon, of being a quadruped, and the areas themselves are these wide open spaces. It's about exploration. It's about soaring through the skies. It's about running through these worlds, trying to discover things. It's not necessarily about tight precision. It's about exploration, and it's something that I don't see as much these days, and it's a reason why I think that Spyro stood the test of time.
Now you guys have Crash and Spyro. Any chance for a mix-up or a team combination?
That'd be fun, but right now we're looking at Spyro Reignited Trilogy.
Talk a little about the voice actors. Are they the same voice actors from the original trilogy?
So we have a lot of the same talent. We've had to re-record everything, but we brought back a lot of our favorites, and we've done some really cool things. Like Spyro in particular, the original game, or the original trilogy, actually had 2 voice actors. So there was one for the original game, and then in Spyro Ripto's Rage and Spyro Year of the Dragon, they switched over to Tom Kenny, which was the Team Insomniac and the fan favorite. And so we actually brought him back to re-record all 3 games. So we're presenting a unified, Spyro for the first time in the original trilogy.
Talk about the scope of this game. Hundreds of levels over the course of 3 games.
Yeah. There's over 100+ levels in the game. There's over 400+ characters. There's a massive soundtrack. There's massive numbers of enemies, massive number of secrets. It's honestly just an astounding trilogy at just the amount of scope and content there is in these games. And each of these levels have their own unique themes, and they're all, like I said, rebuilt from the ground up just to be amazing.
Do you have a favorite memory of playing the old Spyro games you can share with us?
Oh, goodness. I remember actually not having the original PlayStation initially when it came out, so getting the mini PlayStation shortly after and immediately buying the kind of classic trilogy and going through those. Don't tell my wife, with a girlfriend at the time. And it was awesome.
Do you guys have a mode where you can switch between the old graphics and the new remastered?
No, but we do have a mode where you can do that with the soundtrack. And so what the team's done with the soundtrack has been really cool, because they've completely remastered a dynamic soundtrack. So when you're playing the game, the soundtrack is evolving as you're doing things. So if you fight a boss, it gets more excitable. If you go in a cave, it gets quiet. If you're charging, you'll hear bongos added to the music to match the run speed of Spyro. But then we also wanted to include the original Stuart Copeland score, so you can pause the game and switch between our dynamic remaster as well as the original Stuart Copeland music tracks.
When does the game come out, and what platforms will it be on?
So Spyro Reignited Trilogy comes out November 13th on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Any plans for Nintendo Switch?
Right now we're looking at Xbox One and PlayStation 4.